Dennis Prager is going to tell us not to trust our own conscience and only trust God because God is the only moral system that you can abide by.
Everyone has heard the expression, let your conscience be your guide. In fact, many people base their entire moral life on the idea that their conscience will keep them from doing bad things. I have something very important to tell you. It won't. Not for most people, and not most of the time.
Well, yeah, sometimes there are bad people with a bad moral compass, but that's not everybody.
Throughout Western history, people took it as a given that the conscience was not enough, that God and God-based moral instruction were also necessary, that so many people
Right. The same God that advocates for slavery and genocide and various other heinous crimes, uh, that's the moral guide we should be looking towards.
believe today that the conscience is all they need to act morally is a product of modern secular society. In fact, it's just one more example of the many irrational ideas that our secular society has produced.
That is hilarious, talking about irrationality while claiming you need a fictional being in order to be morally good.
Others include men give birth, Western civilization is no better than any other, and if you're colorblind, you're racist.
Yeah, men can give birth. It has happened many times. Western civilization isn't better than any other civilization. And I love how he uses like a picture of a colorblind glasses for like the colorblind test. When when people say that I'm not racist, I'm colorblind, that means they're willingly ignoring the actual systematic abuses that are going on, and yes, they are racist.
But none of these beliefs is more irrational than the belief that the conscience is all you need, that it can replace God, the Bible, and Judeo-Christian values.
Again, talking about rationality, and then pointing to a fictional book that he claims is the only way to be moral.
As a producer of moral behavior. The reality is that most people's consciences are, to say the least, easily manipulated. It is hard to imagine any aspect of human life more malleable than the conscience. It's as malleable as putty.
Everybody's morals are slightly malleable. It always depends on the situation, and nobody knows what they're going to do in that situation.
And as sturdy. If the conscience were morally effective, what evildoer or supporter of evil would sleep well at night? Yet people who commit evil, whether for personal reasons, such as murderers, thieves, and rapists, or for ideological reasons, such as Nazis, communists, and Islamic terrorists,
Nazis, Christians, Islamic terrorists, or not Christians, but uh, Muslim. They're religious. Both of them have, um, a religious philosophy that they follow, but they've also committed great evils.
sleep as soundly as anyone else. Also, if the conscience were morally effective, why doesn't it stop anyone who commits evil from doing so? That
Okay, if God was real, why doesn't God stop anybody from committing evil if he hates evil? Um, people's people with like a good moral compass will do good, and people with a bad moral compass will do bad. People with like a morally gray compass will, be kind of chaotic. But situations are always different. Like, it's quote unquote bad. Well, I mean, I don't know why I said quote unquote. It's bad to steal, but if you need to steal in order to survive, like steal food from a store, then it's not bad. So it is kind of a gray area.
alone should end the issue, but let's continue. Virtually every individual who has committed or supported evil has had a clear conscience. That's why I let conscience be my guide is meaningless intellectually and morally.
Right. You point out a couple people and be like, "Oh, these people didn't feel bad because these people didn't feel bad committing the crimes that they did. So that means the human moral compass is bad. So follow my book of beliefs that talks about genocide, slavery, child rape, infanticide, and various other crimes. It's like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? It's like the Christian religion is nothing but a death cult.
Most people get it backwards. People's feelings and behavior produce their conscience. Their conscience doesn't produce their feelings and behavior.
Yeah, people's experience in reality um, shapes how their moral compass is. Somebody grows up in a place where you gotta fight a lot in order to get food. Well, those people are gonna be probably more aggressive towards getting food.
Most people do either what they want to do and then tell their conscience that what they did was right, or their feelings decide what is right and they label those feelings conscience. Here's another proof that the
But people like Dennis Prager will want to label something good or bad and then claim it's because his imaginary friend told him that was the case.
conscience is largely useless in directing moral behavior. People on the opposite sides of every conflict are equally convinced they are listening to their conscience. Take the morally clear example of World War II. German soldiers and concentration camp guards
Yep, and they were Christian.
followed their consciences, but so did the Allied troops and leaders who fought them. The Western spies who gave atom bomb secrets to the great mass murderer Joseph Stalin followed their consciences, but so did the anti-communists who opposed Stalin.
Yeah, he's just pointing out that in in the world there are some bad people and there are some good people. Yet he's trying to claim it's because of people's conscious or moral guide that is the flaw here, and that you should be a Christian or Judeo-Christian when there are a lot of, like the Nazis, that have done bad, and he doesn't want to point that out because it would then go against his um, script of Christianity being the only way to be morally good.
Even the Japanese soldiers who used Korean women as comfort women, women they gang raped day after day, all followed their consciences. But so did the Allied troops and leaders who fought the Japanese in World War II. The list is endless. And we don't need the extreme example of World War II. People who believe the human fetus has a right to live, unless its death is necessary to save the life of the mother, and those who do not believe the human fetus has a right to live unless the mother wants it to.
Funny here because the Bible has the has in it you can find the potion of bitter waters. If a husband suspects his wife of cheating and getting pregnant, they can create a potion that will force her to have an abortion. So abortion was not considered bad in the Bible, um, as well as the Israelite tribe never counted kids until they were 5. Um, so it's
Are both equally convinced their consciences dictate their views. People who believe it is moral to surgically remove the healthy breasts of any girl or young woman who says she is a boy have a
yeah, but you don't have any issue with God telling you, "Hey, cut off the skin of your dick." That's mutilation, and we do that to boys after they're born. But hey, because it's your religious belief, it's automatically good according to you. and adults having mastectomies is somehow bad.
Completely clear conscience, as do those who think this act constitutes mutilation.
Though the people who consider trans people to be evil are religious people. And yeah, they're using their conscience and they're justifying it with their religion because they believe that their religious beliefs should control everybody else, like Dennis Prager does.
Given the moral unreliability of the conscience means little more than what one feels is right or wrong.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Because morals are pretty subjective.
In other words, in most people, conscience is just a euphemism for what I feel. So,
No, it is what I feel is right. Yeah, some people can have a bad moral compass. Most people have a good moral compass. I mean, how often do you just like walk around town and then you just randomly get beat by people because they're like, oh, I just feel like beating up people, so I'm gonna beat you up. No, it doesn't happen often because we as society have agreed to pretty much treat each other nicely how we want to be treated.
so then, given the frequent uselessness of the conscience, how is one to be morally guided? And the answer is by building a conscience. The conscience we are born with needs to be developed, just like the muscles we are born with need to be developed.
Oh, you don't say that in order to develop a moral compass, you need to grow up and learn what is right and wrong? Oh, wow. That is, uh, that is a revelation I never knew.
It takes four things: truth, because lies are the mother of evil;
Yeah, says the guy that lies to people in order to get money, lying to people about religion and stuff.
courage, because good is impossible without it; God, that is the God of the Bible;
Yeah, you need a fictional being in order to be good. Whatever.
and reason, because God without reason leads to fanaticism, and because reason without God leads to moral chaos.
Right. Most religious people are fanatics because they don't have reason. It's you really have no reason when it comes to religion because religion is irrational. It claims a bunch of unprovable things because it's what people feel like they think is correct when it's not.
In fact, irony of ironies, reason without God ends with the death of reason.
No, it does not. You don't need God to be able to reason. How else do all these atheistic scientists reason? It is like, and it's funny how he says specifically the Judeo-Christian God. What about all the people before the Judeo-Christian God was ever conceived of in the mind of some random dude? Um, those people didn't have reason and logic and stuff. It's like, how were they building everything that they were building if they didn't have reason?
Unless, of course, you believe men give birth is rational.
That is more rational than believing that some magic sky fairy created two people in a garden, and then they populated the earth by interbreeding with each other. Yeah, because the Garden of Eden, yeah, that's just a bunch of incest, and Christians support that. If you like my content, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Peace.